Amon Garam, or Adrian Gecko in the dub, is one of the 4 students from other academies introduced in Season 3 of GX. He hails from Eastern Academy and a super rich family he was adopted into, but you probably know him as that guy responsible for giving us the mighty Clouding archetype, sacrificing female Tristan for Exodia, and also as that buff as fuck guy who threw down some hands with Professor Viper. I think the GX series has a ton of characters we can pull into Duel Links as duelists, and Amon would be a no-brainer. He was not only kind of pivotal to the plot of Season 3, but we already got Cloudians in Duel Links already. You just, tend to forget, because, well, they blow. Like that shitty Cloud from Super Mario 64 and that shitty level with the shitty mushrooms and the shitty monkey and the shitty moles. I hate that level. Anyways, here's how I think Amon Garam should come to Duel Links. So before I get into the actual unlock event for Amon, I want to do some sort of world building with some other events. Season 3 had a butt ton of stuff going on, to the point where it was basically 2 seasons in one. The first half dealing with Viper and the bio bands or dual bands or whatever, and the second half being all that Spirit World craziness. So first, let's have a Duelist Chronicle 3 event for GX to introduce us to these new students, Viper, Marcel, and Yabel in a fish tank. We can even have all the dual band or bio band duels against the new students be duel events, like that unnecessary helicopter duel Manjome and Amon had. You know the one, where they played a children's card game, suspended from glass platforms, held up by 2 helicopters. You guys have spent years complaining about card games on motorcycles being ridiculous, but then somehow you guys just let this one slide. For shame, internet. Anyways, each duel can have like an electrode-like skill in play to mimic the effect of the bio bands. More on this event in another video. From here, we can have the rest of Season 3 be done in individual events, with each student getting their own event to unlock them, culminating in a big event that wraps up all of Season 3's craziness. More of this event in another video. It's a bit of a shame we already have Johan, and he's already at the gate now, but maybe we can have some sort of wandering duelist event for Johan just for, the sake of symmetry, since he is part of the 4 duelists that came from other academies, and it'd be kind of weird to not include him in this. I'm sure there's some sort of Crystal Beast support we can get from a Johan event. There's gotta be something left. More on this event, well, I don't know if this warrants a video actually. We'll see. Anyways, for an Amon event, we need to focus on his time as a baddie in the Spirit World. We can maybe have a Wandering Duelist event or Gate event where you don't actually unlock him the first time around, but you just get some shit Cloudians, even though we kind of already have all the Cloudian support. But what I want to focus on for this main event is I want to make an Exodius event. This event will be a Gate event where you can challenge Amon and Exodius. You can maybe collect like female Tristan tears as the event item, or something tragic like that. The main thing I want to do for this event is recycle the gimmick from the Tyranno event, where you had to defeat Tyranno in a certain number of turns, or you get stomped out by a giant spiky T-Rex. Here you'll have like 5 or so turns or whatever to beat Amon, or you'll automatically get trashed by Exodius' effect, and he'll win the duel. Would love to see a giant Exodius stomping around in the background for the duel like they did for Ultimate Tyranno. In addition to that, we can have a level 50 Amon that appears randomly in the duel world and just starts out with Exodius on the field to begin with, to make things a little bit tougher. Now, since Exodius is the center of the event here, and we have pretty much all the Cloudians already, and all of their support, this event's drops are going to be more focused on fun stuff, like Exodius support. I was going to consider Natural Disaster and Updraft as cards that he could drop, but with the skills that I have in mind later on, it would make Cloudians probably a tier 0 burn deck in Duel Links, so we're going to go ahead and not include those as event drops. Exodius is going to be the main ultra rare, obviously, and I also threw in Poison Cloud as you know, it's the only Clouding we don't really have in Duel Links. I'm a little bit worried of its burn effect, but hopefully it won't be that big of a deal. Obliterate is the only real Exodia support that exists in the actual card game, so we're just gonna have to throw that in there as well. And Fog King was a card that Amon actually used in his deck in the anime, specifically this Exodius deck. He combos it with Royal Sword, which is also given as an event drop here, and he uses it to OTK his opponents by doing 4,000 points of damage in 4 turns. Obviously, we can't really do that in Duel Links, so I'm going to go ahead and change up Royal Sword's effect in some sort of way so that it only inflicts at max 2,000 points of damage after more than 4 turns, maybe something more like 6 or something like that, just to make it a lot more balanced. I mean, if you let your opponent have a card out for 6 turns and you can't get rid of it, you should at least be able to take 2,000 points of damage. Break the Seal and Rage of the Forbidden One are anime exclusive support, but they're nothing crazy, so we can go ahead and give that out in this game because anime cards are always fun. Puppet King reprint because it's symbolic, and Mad Reloaded and Sheep Cloud reprints because fuck you. I don't like to really focus on decks too much when it comes to this. I like to focus more on the skills and the event, but for level 30s and level 40s, since I'm going to go ahead and ignore the level 10s and 20s because they're pretty much irrelevant, for his level 30 deck, I'm basically just giving him a Clouding deck. We've got 1 copy of Cloudian Eye of the Typhoon, 2 copies of Cloudian Ghost Fog, 2 copies of Nimbus Man, 2 copies of Poison Cloud, 2 copies of Acid Cloud, 2 copies of Cirrostratus, I guess that's how you say that, 2 copies of Cloudian Squall, try that again, 2 copies of Cloudian Squall, 2 copies of Fog Control, 2 copies of Summon Cloud, 1 copy of Rainstorm, 1 copy of Natural Disaster, and finally 1 copy of Mirage Target. I legitimately just copied this deck from what he used in the anime, from what I saw on Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki, and edited it a little bit. Insert a joke about Cloudian sucking here. His level 40 and above will use Exodius, and will be really similar to the deck that he used in the anime as well. We're going to have him have 3 copies of Exodius, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord, 1 copy of Exodia the Forbidden One, left arm of the Forbidden One, left leg of the Forbidden One, right arm of the Forbidden One, and right leg of the Forbidden One, as well as 1 copy of Vortex Trapper, 2 copies of Deep Diver, 2 copies of Fog King, 3 Phantom Griffins, 2 copies of Rage of the Forbidden One, 1 Shard of Greed, 2 Royal Swords, 1 copy of Obliterate, 2 copies of Break the Seal, and finally 1 copy of Dimensional Prison. Once you get enough event points from beating up Amon and Baby Exodia, you unlock Amon and his key card, Eye of the Typhoon. Exodius would obviously be a more badass key card, but we mainly know Amon for Cloudians, and they could use some love, I guess, so his key card is going to be Eye of the Typhoon. And I'm sure Konami would rather focus on Cloudians and branding him as such, especially considering that they like to pretend most of Season 3 and beyond never really happened. But as long as, you know, he gets some Exodius voice lines and hopefully a summoning cutscene, it'll be fine. I had a lot of fun with Amon's skills, way more than I did with Rebecca's skill this time around. His first unique skill is going to be Downcast. Begin the duel with Cloudian Squall on the field. Naturally, the biggest weakness with Cloudians is that they need to use counters, which are pretty bad mechanic in Yu-Gi-Oh! Considering that monsters might not actually stay long enough on the field for you to take advantage of the counters. Hopefully starting off the duel with this card, and maybe also clearing up a card spot in your deck helps Cloudians out. Draw Sense Cloudian can be used each time your life points decrease by 1800. During your draw phase, instead of conducting your normal draw phase, draw a random Cloudian from your deck. Pretty basic skill. Don't think it'll actually see any play, but why not have even more draw sense skills? Garamon's Riches can be used each time your life points decrease by 1000. During your draw phase, instead of a normal draw, you can draw a random prismatic super rare from your deck. Amon comes from a rich family, so I thought it would be kind of cool to have him have his own version of Carbon Core Bling, except for like something different, so I specified prismatic super rares. You can change it up to something else, but you get what I'm going for here. Cloud coverage. Once per turn, discard one Cloudian from your hand. Then, distribute fall counters across the field as you wish, equal to the discarded monster's level +2. Can be used up to twice in a duel. This skill is the reason I didn't want Amon to drop Updraft in the event, since if you discard, for example, Eye of the Typhoon, you can easily inflict 2400 points of damage in one turn to your opponent, which is more than half of your opponent's life points in Duel Links. However, I do think it would be a nifty way to get counters on the field and maybe fill up your grave. I mean, you know, every archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! Wants to fill up the graveyard, right? Accumulation. Once per turn, select one Cloudian monster you control. Gains 100 attack for each fall counter on the field. At first, I thought I had to add a restriction to this, like only that monster can attack, but I honestly don't think it'll be that bad, considering, besides, if Cloudians became good, who's really going to complain? You should throw these ugly little fluff balls above them. As for everything else, the other skills are generic skills. Holy Guard makes sense for Cloudians, but might not be as useful as I really think it might be. Likewise, I gave him Fairy Smile since Cloudians are all fairy types, after all. And he needs some sort of version of Grandpa's cards in order to actually be able to use Exodius, so I gave him that skill. Not sure if you want to rename the skill to make it different, since it's not exactly his Grandpa's cards, but that's not really important. Balance is, you know, balance. And John Sass, Water, Wind, and Low Level are for Cloudians naturally, and Life Boost A, because I don't know. And finally, for his level up rewards, we have first Cloudian Turbulence, Cloudian Acid Cloud, reprints, got Mirage Target, Cloudian Aerosol, Summoning Cloud, Natural Disaster. And he'll also have the 3 skills, Downcast, Grandpa's Cards, and Garamon's Riches, acquirable through level up. Mirage Target is an anime-only card that's basically Draining Shield, but you have to tribute a Cloudian monster, so I figured why the hell not. Summon Cloud and Cloudian Aerosol are the last bits of Cloudian support that we don't actually have in Duel Links, aside from Poison Cloud and Updraft. And then there's also Natural Disaster, which I fear would get really abused really badly since we only have 4,000 life points in Duel Links, but I figured at 1 it won't be all that bad. Hopefully. So what do you think? Do you like how Amon's event would play out? Or maybe his skills would make Cloudian somewhat decent in Duel Links? Or maybe you're just waiting for me to show off more sick, hot pictures of his sick, awesome bod. Either way, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Until next time, stay fresh.